We only have 1 minute left.
Oh,
And the thing that we haven't talked about that you're not also allowed to talk about with rabbis is Israel. And I know we don't have time to talk about that. But I was wondering if you two have any one sentence parting wisdom, and we can maybe put a link to your, I think you made a beautiful statement on Israel with your synagogue.
yeah.
Maybe we could put a link to that if you're open to that.
I think I actually do have a quick, yeah, I think the single most important thing for the world, actually, I am going to make a big statement, is like, there's two peoples there. There has to be some kind of shared vision for being together. And this is like what has been so and is incredibly I'm super critical about what the Israeli government is doing it. I've gotten a lot of flack for it from in different ways in my professional life. But what has happened with the left in general is it's just become so dehumanizing of Israelis and where they are and like and negating of their even like being in the land. And this is like a weird thing that's kind of disconnected from reality of like there's Jews and there's Palestinian citizens of Israel. There's a huge number there, they're 20% of the population. There's amazing stuff that's happening on the ground there of people who are still holding this vision of shared society and living together and working things out creatively in a way that like the whole I understand in the absence of any kind of positive movement, it has caused this intense polarization that's on the left and right, that the right wing people are getting more violent, left people too are just much more extreme. And I just wish that everyone would look into some of these, like, the organization in Israel standing together. There's another organization called A Land for All,
Two nations, one homeland.
Two Nations, One Homeland, that's is one example of that's a kind of larger solution with, Israelis and Palestinians standing together as a organization within Israel of Jews and Palestinian citizens of Israel, Jews and Arabs. But both of those are like living some kind of shared future. And we're in this very difficult situation where there's no clear, the two-state solution is difficult for most people to say like, hey, we'll get there one day. And so there's not a clear vision, but these folks are like articulating possibilities. Daria's great at that. And so like tapping and they're putting their lives on their line and their careers and they have skin in the game in a way that all these activist people in the US and Europe and so forth don't, even though they get really riled up and you can post TikTok videos and all that. But I'd say that's like the single most important thing, that kind of shared humanity piece and like having, positive vision and taking direction from people who are actually there and living it.
And with those who have a vision
Yeah.
of life, right? Like the executive director, the co-executive director of Living Together, of Standing Together, of A Land for All, said, we're either going to live together or we're going to die together. Like, let's just be real about it, right? And so, come on, world, come on, people. If you think you actually care, are you supporting life or are you supporting death? We have two very traumatized people who are continuing to, at many levels, continue the trauma as individuals are trying to create a vision of something else.